Let me kind of talk about some things I've noticed and on social media. Social media is a hell of a thing, you know. And I'm sure. Look, I'm sure people post. They call them memes. We all know what that is, right? I don't think that it's explained. Um, and look, I get it. People could post things. Maybe they don't put too much thought into it, which is why whenever something is kind of caught on, well, we should mention something about it, right? Hey, by the way, let me kind of put context in to what you're posting here, right? First of all, right, something I've noticed in the last year or so, it could have been happening longer, but I just noticed it the last year or so, is something like this. And I'm sure if you're listening to this and you're on social media, especially Facebook, you've seen this, okay? And the comment goes, it's something like this. It's a meme, and it'll say something like, these guys think they're real gangsters, but real gangsters don't brag about their money. Or something like that, And Escobar never, bragged about his money. And it was worth like over $1 billion or something like that, right? Now, what the meme doesn't say is that this motherfucker was a scumbag that murdered and raped people and butchered them, okay? Whether himself or by his order. They don't talk about that, but they want to praise him because he had a lot of money and he didn't, quote unquote, go around bragging about it. Well, he's not an artist, right? Of course he didn't have a video bragging about it, okay? But to say that, oh, Little Wayne thinks he's gangster, but the real gangster is El Chapo. Okay, like I get the message you're trying to put out there, right? The Little Wayne is a fake, right? But do you have to like bend over backwards for El Chapo, a fucking criminal, right? Do you guys? I don't think people understand, right? Some of the things that the cartels do. I don't. I can't even begin to say it without people taking a step back and saying, "Oh, come on, they don't do that," but they have. Okay, these motherfuckers will go into funerals and kill innocent people to put a quote unquote message out there. Okay, we're not talking about just ordinary. I mean, this is not just the ordinary mafia here. Okay, the mafia is bad enough, but this is another level. These are not good people. They're not. I mean, it's forget about just crime amongst themselves because they kill each other a lot. They the torturing and if they just think you stole money from them, I mean, they'll torture the shit out of you, and they'll send your head, to the family. They'll send a video you getting tortured. They think you stole something from them, and the manager that's your family paying back. I mean, this is not a joke here. This is not something to be bragged about and put on a meme. I constantly see it. Oh man, Chapo. I mean, he's a real gangster. Like, you know what? Chapo is a piece of shit. Is what he is, right? I mean, that's there's no other way around it. You guys know, like a lot of people that like they put this image of Chapo like, oh, it's Chapo against like the corrupt government of Mexico, and he's like the Robin Hood of like, shut up, right? Just shut up. And they're over there writing corridos about him over there in Mexico and shit. It's fucking disgusting, right? Not the vast majority, obviously, but he has a little following there. But I'll be the first to say that yes, the Mexican government is fucking corrupt, but guys like El Chapo are the corruptors, right? That's what they are, right? And yes, look, I'm against the war on drugs. Okay, it's I am, and getting rid of the war on drugs will stop someone like El Chapo from gaining the type of power he did. I get that, right? But I didn't make the rules. I didn't write the rules. I live within these rules, and I do know that El Chapo is a piece of shit. No, we're not just talking about somebody who sold drugs and and if he didn't bother him unless it was like a rival drug cartel and he fought against them. No, 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 no. Let me tell you something, okay? When you can't hire a police chief and you hire a girl to be the police chief, and they still murder the girl. I see. I can't in any way, shape, or form defend that. Okay. When you go to a Catholic priest and extort them for money, and if they don't comply, you end up beheading them. I have a problem with that. Okay, there's nothing cool about that. See that's a piece of shit. That's what that is. Okay, I don't want to go around. Oh yeah, yeah, this dude, yeah, this motherfucker's cool. He's a real gangster. Well, what the fuck are you talking about? Because the pieces of shit like this guy, the government is corrupted, and because the government's corrupted, shit can't get done in Mexico, right? I mean, and we're not even talking about the heinous crimes this guy has done and committed, right? I mean, how many people does he have to murder and butcher and torture, right? The Sinaloa cartel has done a lot of disgusting shit. A lot of, I mean, we're talking. You keep hearing about ISIS. Like ISIS will look at what the cartel's doing and be like, what's the matter with you guys? Like, we just behead them, because we think they're infidels and shit. Like you like torture them and just for fun, for no reason. Like it's kind of disgusting here. And I keep seeing these like, oh yeah, these guys are legends, and like people just praising these um, fucking drug cartel leaders, man. And I get it. Maybe a little bit is movies like Scarface, and you think they're all like Tony Montana and shit like that, but you know when a lot of the things these guys do, man, in the real world, like outside of the movies, they're not to be praised, man. Like they're not. They just aren't. Just because some rapper is saying he's gangster and you don't think he's really gangster, and you want to be like, oh, here's a real gangster. Like, all right, but this quote unquote real gangster is a piece of shit, though, right? Like this rapper is just a dude that could rap and he makes a living doing that. That's it. All right. Um, it's not that I don't understand that someone can have a quote unquote street life, and it's not that I don't understand that sometimes people do what they need to do to survive in this grim world. It's not that I don't get that. Okay, but El Chapo, right, has committed some heinous crimes, right? As the leader of the Sinaloa drug cartel, right? What part, like what, when you say, oh, you can't say he did it for survival. All those Catholic priests he killed, was that for survival? Because he was extorting them for money? Or was it just because he knew the Catholic Church there was getting money from people that went to church, and so he demanded a cut out of that just because, hey, we're the drug cartel. We run shit around here. So, there's only so many passes. Plus, I mean, you guys say he's a real gangster, but I get it. Oh, yeah, wow. He escaped from jail. And, his escape from jail is not as impressive as you guys think it is. This wasn't like a jailbreak. This is not like the movie The Rock, where the dude shows Nicolas Cage how he escaped, from Alcatraz, and he swam all these miles. That's not what happened, right? These motherfucking guards were paid off, right? That's it. That's all it was. Because they're fucking corrupt. They were paid off, man. He was given a tunnel to escape. That's what happened, and they acted stupid. Like, oh, I don't know where he went. Oh, no sé pa dónde fue, no sé. Okay, those fucking guards should have been arrested. If they were or weren't, I don't know. I didn't keep up with that story, but they should have been. Um, of course, and El Chapo. I mean, he was caught, flirting with some actress over there. I mean, a lot of like this, there's actresses like from novellas and stuff, and actors that mingle around with these type of people. It's fucking disgusting, man. It's fucking, it just is. Like, really, El Chapo is like, it's a person to look up to. Really, that's El Chapo. Like, really, you can't pick like an athlete at least or something like that. Like, I mean, I'm not a big fan of idolizing athletes or actors or anything like that, or performers. I'm not, but I mean, it's a lot better than Chapo, right? This is problematic, man. The fact that this dude is seen as a hero by some people is astonishing. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. You know, I don't know. This dude is far from a fucking hero. He's a hero. I live. I could take like 4 minute drive. In 4 minutes, I'm in the border highway. In another minute or two, I'll be driving across the border highway, and I could see the colonias of Juarez. Right, people with no water, no plumbing. Right, it's a fucking third world country, less than a mile away from the border. Right, you could see it. All the while, motherfuckers that like in the drug cartels are living in mansions and all this shit, right? Living the high life. And now who suffers the greater, where a lot of these deaths happen and all that? Who suffers the most? The poor over there in Mexico, right? Whenever there's a drug cartel confrontation or anything like that, more often than not, the I guess what you would call, friendly fire or what have you, is the innocent people killed are usually poor kids, all right, because they're caught in the crossfire. So it impacts the poor more over there. So what the hell are they idolizing over there, right? And the way it works, I mean, police officers over there don't make shit. I mean, you get pulled over in Mexico, shit, you give them a $20 bill, they'll let you go quick, right? Right. And I know that from personal experience. But, hey, it is what it is years ago. But these police officers, man, they're all fucking corrupt. All of them. Okay? You got to go all the way up to the federales, if that. Okay? To have anyone serious go after the drug cartels. I mean, over there in Mexico. I mean, the level of corruption, and because of the power that these drug cartels have, right? In our reality, they control the government. And look at all these people living in poverty and just, don't have anything to look forward to, living like they live in a third world country, and they're idolizing these guys. It's astonishing to me, right? The real heroes are the reporters over there that have put their lives on the line to say the truth about guys like, like Chapo Guzman, and they were murdered in the process. Those are real heroes, right? So the government officials that fought against the drug cartels, some of them got murdered, killed, beheaded, right? Those are real heroes, right? This motherfucker, he's not a hero, right? But see, he already pled not guilty, right? Like I put in a post, I put, motherfucker pled not guilty to being a gangster. He pled not guilty to everything. I mean, to be honest, I'm glad he's, I hope anyway, that they keep him in the United States prison. That they should not send him back to Mexico or any part of South America, because he'll escape again, right? idiots out there thinking he did like some grand escape. Oh my God, Chapo, he's unbelievable. He's like the Batman. He just escaped. He digs his own hole, and he just, he went through all those guards, and it was like the fucking movie Mission Impossible. Like, no, motherfuckers, it's all those motherfucking guards already knew what was happening, right? So anyway, it's tough, man. It's part of me gets it, but for the most part, I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, what's the matter with people? What's with these idols people are picking nowadays? It's like getting worse and worse. What's going on, man? You know, um, what is it about Chapo Guzman that I just people were comparing him to Al Capone. You know what the difference is. You know, not that these gangsters from the 20s, during Prohibition, not that they weren't criminals, and by law they were, but number one, I mean, they became. I think we should have learned the lessons of Prohibition. That's number one. But most of the killings that were done, right, were either trying to get away from police. That's number one. There was a lot of police killings during Prohibition. Okay, and they became very powerful. I mean, they became almost as powerful as, or not more powerful at times, than the like the local police and stuff, right? And the Tommy gun became a big thing at that time, stuff like that. But for the most part, man, there was, and I'm not excusing it, obviously, but for the most part, with these bootleggers, it was mostly about, business, obviously, and if it could be, and if they could do it on the down low, right, without, especially the federal government getting involved, right, that they would have done it, okay, well, without having to kill anybody. But crime obviously went up, right? But it was really rivalries between the gangs. I mean, that's really what it was, okay. And to a certain degree, yes. I mean, a lot of people in the government were still drinking, and while telling everybody else you can't drink, and busting people, just being hypocrites. No different to the drug war today, right? No different to that. But in Mexico, man, this is a whole another animal. Okay, a whole another animal. Now there's things I know that I can't disclose. Okay, but I will say the most I could say is this, right? I've heard some stories, right? That, I mean, it'll give you goosebumps just listening to some of these stories, right? I mean, some of the disgusting things, especially the Sinaloa drug cartel, that they did, right? To just torture people. And we're not talking in necessity, or just to, they always had a method of, kind of reminding people we're the top dog. Don't even think about rivaling us, right? Don't even think about it. There was always a brutal mythology with them, right? And now some of these things, I mean, they were in the newspapers here and the local news and stuff, but I mean, we're talking about people. I mean, you could see them hanging, right, from the border highway. Like, people just hanging, right? Custom agents, stopping a suspicious vehicle. They open the trunk, and there's some dude all mutilated and shit. It was being crossed for some reason from Mexico to the U.S., and they suspected that they were gonna take that mutilated body, okay, and deliver it to the family members that lived here, right? So, it's just, when it comes to Chapo, it's not just that he's a gangster and that he was a head of a drug cartel, or I mean, we're talking about, aside from the regular crimes that are committed by gangsters like that. I mean, this dude and his brutal tactics just went to a whole nother level, right? They just did, right? Now the argument always is, well, you have to do that. It's a matter of survival. It's him, or it's survival of the fittest. And let me tell you something, man. More than half of the shit he didn't have to do, right? I don't give a fuck. Like, oh, for survival, like, motherfucker, like it's. I wouldn't do that to. Okay, I wouldn't do that to women. I wouldn't do that to anybody, right? I wouldn't do that to people that had nothing to do with the conflicts. None of that, right? None of that. Say what you want about the mafia, right? They still had like code, like it's in their weird way. They always had like certain ethics, right? They always had certain ethics, right? Like when it came to a man, like they'd probably beat the shit out of them and torture them or what have you, right? But they wouldn't quite do that to a woman, you know. There was always like some form of, even though they were criminals and they did a lot of terrible shit, they still had some ethics. When I tell you that the drug cartels have no ethics, zero, all right? I'm telling you, they have no ethics, none whatsoever, right? Zero. Hey, did they fit people to animals, right? I mean, we're talking brutal shit. Okay, we're just talking, like, just trying to think of stories I've seen here. Torching somebody, while the family is listening and the family's being forced to watch, and just brutal stuff, right? Like brutal stuff. That it shouldn't be romanticized. Fuck that. For what? There's nothing romantic about that. There's nothing, good about that. And just how heartless they are. It's unbelievable, right? It honestly is. I remember I went to see a movie. I forgot the name of the movie, but it actually, in the start of the movie, they're actually in El Paso, and then they cross to Juarez and stuff. It's kind of cool because that's literally the border where I live. It's literally a 5-minute drive from here. Right? So it's like that border crossing. So I was like, oh wow, that's where I live, right? And I remember later in that movie, there's this like guy that's working with the FBI now, or DA or whatever, and they kind of tell him like, hey, he really wants to get to the leader of a certain drug cartel, and he finally finds him, and he's hell bent on killing him. Right? He's like, I'm going to kill this guy, and he mentioned about how he threw his family in a pool of acid. Right? All he did was he did kill the family, which is terrible, right? Again, no ethics, right? And then killed him, obviously. Like, he made him watch that for what he did to his family, and then he killed him, right? So let me just say this, okay? You know when they say like you can't script this shit? Okay. There's actually a story that's actually based on something real, right? They've thrown people into pools of acid, in front of the wife or the husband. Like, they've done it, right? I mean, this is not, they've done worse shit than that. I mean, if anything, that's a quick death, Probably terrifying as shit, but this is a quick death. But anyway, man, I'm digressing and stuff, but that's all I really got to say, man. Everybody, make sure you guys have a good weekend, a safe weekend, right? And that's that. That's the style boxing. I'm out.